Ha, you work all fucking day. You don't got shit. Thank you for working so hard so I can be home all day free. I can use my EBT. Go to work for me, white boy, white girl. Yeah. Go to work for me, you fucking white animals. Fucking work for me. Yeah, you fucking work for me. And the US government is the they work for me. All of you work for me. Now go to work. Pay them taxes. Take care of me and my people. All right? This is my land. I control this place. This is my reality. You all gonna be enchained. I'm gonna lock all you guys up if you don't pay your taxes. You better fucking pay your taxes.
Welcome to the J.J. Carrell Show. Hard to watch, right? Very hard to watch. Now, here's going to be some harder truth and some to be hard to hear from me. Did he say anything that was incorrect? Did he say anything that's not happening right now? I kind of make this equivalent of you find out that your wife is cheating on you. And not only is she cheating on you, you come home after a long day of work and there he is. He's sitting at your dinner table, eating your food, relaxing. And he just tells you, this is my world now. I own your wife. I'm eating your food because you're out there busting your hump. I'm not working all day. I'm just here with your wife all day. So tomorrow, this is what's going to happen. You're going to get up and you're going to go work again. And I'm going to stay home and I'm going to have fun with your wife and eat all your food. I might even wear your clothes. That scenario with that savage from Somalia and the scenario of some dude in my house, both scenarios are going to end in a bloody mess. Kick my wife out of the house. She's gone, but that man's going to pay a price. And he will always, always remember who I am. We are hurtling as a nation. This is not a threat. This is not trying to get clicks. Anybody that watches me knows that I don't really care about any of that. I believe that if I tell the truth the way I see it, honestly, everything else would take care of itself. I am telling you that we are at our breaking point. America is at our breaking point. I think we passed it. I think we're in this very weird time where historians are going to look back 100 years from now and say, yeah, they kind of broke. The Americans were broke, like they got beaten and they were beaten down, and the straw that broke the camel's back was like 2 years ago. But something happened in this weird window. I don't know what they're going to call it. The historians are going to call it, but they're going to say this was a weird time. It was like a ramping up where Americans were down and her enemies, foreign and domestic, thought they could just keep beating that American dead horse. And they kept beating it and laughing louder and louder and louder, abusing us more and more. And then we're going to rise up and we're going to devour everything and everybody. And it's going to be an absolute bloodbath. And I believe that more and more every single day. Do I want this to happen? No. But when I look at someone like this, that's representing hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of Somalis, broader tens of millions of third worlders that actually believe everything he said, white man. And what he's talking about that is white Americans, black Americans, Hispanic Americans, you dumb bastards, you need to get your ass to work in order for me to live the life I want to, because you are a sucker and I own you. I own your land. and I own the system that you created, that created the greatest nation on planet Earth. We are now using your system to enrich us, and you're going to work because you've been conditioned to be a sucker. You have been conditioned to live in civility and kindness. You have been conditioned to believe diversity is a strength. You have been conditioned to allow people like me into your country, and then I rape your women. I kill your children. I take everything that you have, and then I demand more. And you have been so conditioned over decades of feminism, anti-Americanism, sexual perversion, the feminization of Jesus Christ and God, that you're worthless. You Americans are worthless. And again, I'm going to go back to that video. Did he say anything that is not factually happening right now? As hard as it is, and I know the men that are watching and the women, but more specifically the men that are watching this, I know you're saying, I'm not allowing that to happen, JJ. I would cave that guy's skull in a second, and I believe you would. I believe there's millions of us alphas out there. This is a bigger discussion, but let's have it. What is going to be the catalyst that's going to bring us together? And who is going to be that leader? There are no movements as big as this is going to be without a leader. Who is that going to be? I know what the outcome of that coalition will be. And I'm not afraid to talk about it. History's on my side. People that are true historians and people that have looked at history and that are kind of philosophers in a way, like a Pat Buchanan, somebody that, and I'm not demeaning him as a philosopher as being someone weaker, right? Or softer in their thoughts. I'm talking about men like Pat Buchanan, Victor Davis Hanson, modern day historians like those men that actually look at history, and that's been their job, their career of intense research and experience, lived experience, to say, when this happens, and this happens, and that happens, and they begin to converge, oh boy, it's not good. And they're all saying, we're converging to that point. History shows that every group of people has a breaking point. That breaking point is usually when you can't feed yourself. But it begins a little bit before then. Excuse me. And when those Americans are galvanized and they're brought together, and again, when this man, this Somali savage is talking about white Americans, be very clear. When he says white, he's talking about all the races of Americans, of those blacks, the Hispanics, the Asians, and the whites. Because here's the thing, you and I, outside of DC and Hollywood, in the media, we don't see color. We just don't. That's the truth. Now, do I see pattern recognition of certain cultures of what they do and how they behave? Yeah, because I'm not an idiot. But you go into law enforcement like I was in. I was a minority in the United States Border Patrol. The majority was Hispanic men. I ran a unit that had every color under the rainbow you can imagine was in my unit. It was the United Nations of my maritime unit. And the truth is, I wouldn't know how to describe them racially unless that I really sat down and started to think, well, is he a Russian? We had a Russian, we had a Greek, we had a Haitian, we had a guy from Vietnam, a guy from Korea, several from Mexico, from Honduras. I mean, you name it. Like first generation was born here with immigrant parents. But we don't see the color We're Americans. And I want you, and I want my audience to understand, people like the guy that I showed you that is demanding with his vulgar and foul language that we continue to work. When he says white, he means all of us. I just came running from my job to get here, as my wife says, my second job, to create where I'm writing books and I'm doing podcasting and I'm growing my presence. It's a full-time job. And I make money, but I'm busting my ass 80, 90 hours a week. So that guy and tens of millions of that guy never has to work a day in his life. America, I need you to understand, tens of millions of illegal aliens. I'm not talking about the legal. We can lump them in. That's going to be almost 100 million. 50 million minimum are not working. They're just staying home. We're busting our ass. And what does our government do? We're not mass deporting people. The Senate just passed the appropriation bill for military. Almost $1 billion is going to Ukraine. I thought that war was supposed to be over with within 24, 48 hours. We're sending another $1 billion. We're sending another up to a couple hundred million to Israel. So I'm working my ass off, and men like me and women like my wife and my friends, we're all working our ass off so we can send money to Ukrainians and Jews. And then I'm going to send money to the Middle East. Then I'm going to send money to Mexicans and Guatemalans. I'm going to fund the European Union's defense. I'm going to fund the Japanese defense. Do you see how absurd this is, what we're living in? Do you understand how we have been sold out? Republicans, Democrats, there's no difference. The government has sold our nation completely out from under us. And I know you know it. I know you feel it. I know you see it. I know you experience it. We have foreign leaders demanding us that you're going to do something for us or there's going to be a problem. Netanyahu came out 3 days ago, and said, the Western nations looking at America, you better control your anti-Semitism or you're going to be in our crosshairs. Well, the very first thing, Mr. Netanyahu, you have a country. And if your Jews don't feel safe in whatever country, they can go to Israel. Am I condoning any kind of anti-Semitic hate and beating people up, killing them? No. No, I don't, Naomi Wolf. No, I don't. But I'm not going to sit here and work my effing ass off to send you ungrateful Jew bastard from Israel $4 billion, where my medical premiums now are over $1,000 a month. I pay for my son to go to school. I have to work and work and work to save money for him into the future. And you take my money and you send it to Israel in the tune of $4 billion or $30 billion in the last year or two, so that they have free health care till they die, till when every time a woman has a child, that child gets a monthly stipend, that they have free education all the way through their university. And our children are paying $20, $30, $50,000 a year to attend a college and come out with 50, 100, 200,000 in debt. I'm supposed to take all of my hard-earned money, my time, talent, and treasure, and send it to the Ukraine because the government had 17 biolabs there? And Putin, who actually is a Christian nationalist, is saying, no, you're not going to put them there. In fact, I'm taking it all back. Do you understand we're in this very strange gray area in the survival of the United States of America. And I don't say that with any type of hyperbole, overstating. If anything, I think I'm understating it. And this is just not my beliefs. You can't get through social media, you can't get through websites, you can't get through historians talking about exactly what I'm talking about. Last year, we were talking in terms of national debt, 34. Well, we're going to 35. We're at 38 trillion in debt. And yet we're still sending money overseas. Those traitorous bastards in the House and the Senate just appropriated billions of dollars to go overseas. How is this acceptable? We, as Americans, we will never vote our way out of this because the whole system is corrupted, from the primaries to the outside money, outside the nation, money coming in. The corporate America is considered a U.S. citizen, so they can funnel their money and push it into the big pile. And the average American is out. We can give them $200, but we can't give them 200 million from a PAC. I can't be like Marion Adelson and go run again, President Trump. I'll give you another 250 million. The average man can't think of truly what $250,000 is in their hand. $25,000, more or less 250,000 that you're flicking like nickels. I'm not bagging on Miss Adelstein. God bless her. Make money. Your husband made money. I have no issue with that. In fact, I applaud you, and I look up to a lot of these wealthy people and say, yeah, I think that's incredible. I would love to be one of you. But the system is corrupt. We don't even know what the true meaning of voting is. Our voting is weeks long. They still can't count them in time. So we don't know who the real leaders or the representatives are in our government. You're not going to be able to legislate your way out of this because our Senate and our House are corrupt to the core. Speaker Johnson has placed 5 bills up to be passed. Do you know there's only one presidential administration in the first year did less than Donald Trump's administration? It's not Donald Trump's fault. This is Speaker Johnson and Thune. There's only one president. That's President Harrison. In the entirety of the United States of America. So please don't tell me that we can legislate our way out. We're not going to be able to take it to the courts. Do you trust the courts? I've played on this show where you have judges that have never even been to law school that got elevated to be a judge. I don't even know how that happens. But they're the judge. How could you judge something when you don't even know the law? Or maybe the bigger question is, why do we have laws that are so expansive, that cover everything, that ruin our lives and rule our lives, that we need people that have to go to school for 2 to 4 years and pass some special test in order to be able to decipher the law? Maybe we have a problem there. So if you don't have a way to legislate, if you don't have a way to vote yourself out, and then you don't have a court system that is honest, what do you have? Well, you have a nation that has no recourse for their grievances. When did that happen in American history? Well, that'd be the Revolutionary War. They had no representation. They had no way to get any kind of way to air their grievances, to come to an acceptable outcome. No one was there to even hear their grievances. So what did our founders do? Well, they went to war. And don't tell me this can't happen in America. Our founding fathers went to war against the equivalent of the United States of America's military and defeated them. Everything feels as if it's coming to a head. Everything. And it's not going to be good. When it all shakes out, it's not going to be good. We can feel it. That's why there's this unease in our country. This is why there's a high anxiety. We are a physically unhealthy nation. Go fly somewhere. Go to a mall, go to a grocery store, and just stop in your, and I do this. I force myself to slow down, stop. Let's look around. We are physically an unhealthy nation. We are morally an unhealthy nation. Spiritually, we're dying spiritually. Intellectually, I don't even know the real adjective to describe where we are. We're coming out of this funk that we all had to chant in unison that men can have babies. We've had the highest intellectuals not be able to articulate what a woman is. We were putting tampons into second grade boys' bathrooms and confusing our children. We're under the spell that diversity is a strength. Think about what we were sold, of the totality of what we're sold, that your baby needs 69 shots. God, that doesn't exist, but in the old times, the Christians believed God was perfect. He created the perfect everything. A woman could have the baby in her home with a midwife, take care of the baby. Now, we've gone so far that God doesn't exist. And now when we get this beautiful, perfect little baby, that it needs to have 69 shots in the next 18 months. Well, because there is no God. Nobody created this little baby perfectly. It needs injections. We were told that having people that don't speak your language, don't believe in your cultural norms, societal norms, have a absolute vile belief and understanding and acceptance of women. That they're functionally retarded. We were told tens of millions of them would benefit America. Go back and look at videos in the 60s, the 50s, 60s, 70s. Hell, go back to the 80s, early 90s. See the videos of America, college campuses, the beaches, amusement parks, inner cities, metropolitan areas. It was calm. There was law and order. Were there bad people? Bad things happened? Yeah, but they were dealt with. There wasn't extreme obesity. Think of this. We have extreme obesity in the United States of America. We have every single ailment has shot up 1,000%. We do not live in the same country that I grew up in. We sure in the hell don't live in the same country that my father was and my mom lived in. My son doesn't live in the same country that I lived in. That's just a fact. And it's sad. It's infuriating. It's resentful. It makes me angry. Nick, can you show number 2? I don't know if we just had some technical. Yep, there he is. Nick, can you show? I'm going to set this up real quick. This is Chip Roy. And I don't know how I feel about Chip Roy, to be honest with you. And then I think, well, have you just been propagandized about Chip Roy? And maybe I have. because every time he speaks, I really like what he says. And what he's saying here is, I'm going to quote him, and you're going to hear him. And I don't agree with his numbers, but that being said, he says, quote, we have 51.5 million people in this country who are foreign born. That's untrue. We have over 50 million people that are illegal aliens. Foreign born pushes almost double that, Mr. Roy. That being aside, that's higher. He says that's higher than any other point in our history. We need to pause immigration, end chain migration, stop H-1B visas, and end birthright citizenship, and recenter our immigration system. Let's hear it from him, and I'm going to comment a little bit more on Chip Roy.
This is the radical Democratic Party that are more interested in playing politics and trying to focus on protecting those who want to endanger Americans than standing with an administration and the president and Secretary Noem who want to secure Americans. So you asked me about the Pause Act. The fact of the matter is we have 51.5 million people in this country who are foreign born. That's about 16% of the population. That's higher than at any other point in our history. So go back to 1920. Where we had maybe a similar percentage. It was about 15%. And we had a whole bunch of people who had come here who, by the way, were more interested in assimilating, who were participating in schools that actually taught that America is great, and when we had no social welfare state. Today, we have millions of people who have come here who don't want to assimilate, who aren't in schools teaching that America is great, and they are on the social welfare state. We need to pause immigration. We need to fix our system. We need to end diversity visas, end chain migration, the kind of people that allow their cousins and uncles and aunts to come in. We need to stop the abuse of H-1B visas. We need to end birthright citizenship. We need to codify what the president has done. We need to stop having taxpayer funding of illegal alien children in our schools, as we do in Texas and everywhere else. And we've got to center our entire immigration system. So pause and let's fix it. I think we need that for the country. We did it in 1920. Our country was stronger for that for about 4 or 5 decades. And now for 50 years, we've been blowing the lid open and allowing people to come here, including radical Muslims, radical Islamists who want to undermine Western civilization and our way of life.
He's absolutely correct. It was 1924 to be exact, the year that we passed the Immigration Act under Calvin Coolidge and created the United States Border Patrol. We had basically a net zero, a net negative immigration for almost 40 years until Ted Kennedy came on the scene. And then everything changed, and we are living in it today, the Hart-Celler Act. I want to show you, this is a quick video. It's like 6-10 seconds. And maybe, Nick, I want to play it twice for my audience, for our audience to see it. And this is a pie chart on the demographics of America. Look in the top left is the decade, and watch this. Watch what happens. Can you play it all the way out, Nick, and just stop it at the end? Yeah, he's going to bring it right there. You see the blue? That was 90-something% white. Is now 57. Now we're at 56. The 18% is Hispanics. Hispanics didn't even register. They're at now 19, going on 20%. Blacks have stayed relatively the same. And then we have a whole hodgepodge of everything else. Our nation has changed. It's completely different. What if I sent this to Japan and said, hey, you guys were 99% Japanese, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Now you're 56% Japan. I will guarantee you that they would string those prime ministers up, and they've already killed them. They've already killed them. The new prime minister has just come out and said, everybody that's here, foreigner, we made a big mistake. Goodbye. You know how kind in Japan, they're very kind, very civil, but they're very direct. Bye. Meaning, get the hell out. You think they would let that happen in Russia, in China? You think the Mexicans would let that? This is what I love. Well, Mexico, we're the racist. Okay, hold on. Do you know that Mexico has a border patrol and their southern border has a fence, if you looked at their fence and and I showed side by side, say Arizona, you wouldn't be able to determine what's Mexican border and what's our border. You'd have no idea. None. They have a border patrol. You didn't know that. They're protesting in Mexico City in DF. Why? And they're protesting in Tijuana. Why? Well, because they want all the Hondurans and Guatemalans and the Venezuelans. And definitely 100% they want the Haitians. They want them out of their country yesterday. Because this is the lie, right? This is the lie that we've been told. America is this heartless, disgusting, racist place. And everyone else in the world loves diversity. They love it. They crave it. You know what it looks like in our holding cells during the Biden time? I had a cell that would hold, on a good day, max like 120. We had like 300 in there. Oh, yeah. And I had to divvy it up because I couldn't put the Indians with anyone because they're so culturally strange compared to Latin America. Hondurans couldn't be with Mexicans. Guatemalans, maybe I could get them in there if they were more Indian. If I had more Indian Mexicans, I could put them with the Guats. Hondurans, El Salvadorians had to be completely by themselves because they like killing everybody. The Venezuelans had to be different. They had to be sent over because they're kind of quasi-uppity. The Haitians, I couldn't put the Haitians with anybody. The Haitians had to be completely walled off. Those savages would just be a brawl. And I used to look into the cells and go, look at all these dumb Americans think that everyone else is this kumbaya. They love people. Oh, everything's great. Oh, it doesn't matter what your race is, where you come from. We love you. No, no, no. I had to have cinder blocks separating them so they didn't gouge each other's eyes out. And we bring them in. This next video is powerful. I'm just going to tell you right now. It's going to enrage you. It's about Minneapolis, Minnesota, but it's also about New York. It's about Maine. It's about us bringing in tens of millions of illegal aliens. They go into a certain community, and then they attack it. And they get on the city council, chief of police, mayors, congressmen, and then it's over. Watch this video and try not to have your head explode.
Zainab Mohammed, member of the Minnesota State Senate. Mohammed Noor, member of the Minnesota House of Representatives. Jamal Osman, member of the Minneapolis City Council. Nadia Mohammed, mayor of St. Louis Park, Minnesota. The first elected Somali American mayor in Minnesota and one of the first in the United States. Aisha Chuktai, vice president of the Minneapolis City Council. Ilhan Omar, U.S. House Representative. Omar Fateh, Minneapolis mayor candidate. Abdi Warsami, executive director of the Minneapolis Public Housing Authority. Hamse Warfa, Deputy Commissioner, Minnesota Department of Employment and Economic Development. Fatia Firayare, Minneapolis Board of Education member. Suad Omar, City Council member, St. Louis Park, Minnesota. Mustafa Mohammed, School Board member, Bloomington, Minnesota. Hodan Hassan, former Minnesota State Representative. Farhio Khalif, activist and former candidate for Minneapolis City Council. Zohran Mamdani, Mayor of New York City. Ghazala Hashmi, Lieutenant Governor of Virginia. Amer Ghalib, Mayor of Hamtramck, Michigan. Abdullah Hamoud, Mayor of Dearborn, Michigan.
Pretty powerful. Pretty powerful. I read today, I love this state. This state is so beautiful. Wyoming. The Somalis have begun to openly state by 2030 they are going to move their population into Wyoming. Wyoming has a population of 600,000. So they're going to move tens of thousands of Somalis into Wyoming. And Wyoming doesn't have big towns. You got Cheyenne. You have, forget the city. This is just College Town, University of Wyoming. Then you have small towns like Cody, Wyoming, maybe 15,000. So let's say they decide I'm going to Cody, Wyoming. Cody, Wyoming is right underneath the national park. And they take 10,000, 15,000 into Cody. Within 1 year, they will have the mayor, they'll sign a chief of police, city council, school board, and Cody, Wyoming will no longer exist. And they're going to do it. Why? Because we brought them over and made them permanent residents and or legal citizens. And you cannot impede a citizen's ability to move within our country. So they have their sights set on Wyoming. So all the people from Wyoming, that I love that state. Man, is it beautiful. You are now listed as the dead man walking. And your politicians are going to do nothing because there's nothing they can do. It's coming. Will you get malicious and stop it? I don't know. Maybe that is the Wild West, the demarcation. I don't know, but it will happen. And what will happen is there will be no allegiance to anyone from Wyoming. There'll be allegiance to whatever hellscape they came from. I want you to listen to, and you're gonna have to read the subtitles because this vile human, Ilhan Omar, is going to prove exactly what I said in her gutter language from Somalia. And try to read the subtitles. And I'm going to tell you in advance what she's talking about is she has allegiance to Somalia and to her president in Somalia, not our president. Go ahead and play this, please, Nick.
Ilhan Omar is now under fire after claiming that the president of Somalia is her actual president and that Somalia is her real home, not America.
caawa aan fursad u helay madaxweynaha Soomaaliya madaxweyne Xasan Sheikh Maxamuud inaan maanta aad iyo aad aan ugu faraxsanahay in maanta madaxweynaheena aad tahay Soomaaliya.
Ilhan Omar is now under fire from American citizens after she claimed during a conference with the president of Somalia that the president of Somalia is her actual president and that Somalia is her real home, not America. These comments from Ilhan Omar has garnered controversy from commenters online. Commenters claim that Ilhan Omar should be expelled from Congress immediately and permanently, and that this is completely treasonous. But what do you think about Ilhan Omar's comments? Do you think she should be able to hold office in Congress? Let me know your thoughts down below.
What do you think? I'm going to tell you, there's no way you're going to stop these Somalis. If Donald Trump does not deport them all, mass deportation, they're coming to Laramie, which is the university town in the University of Wyoming, because why not? And they're going to go to places like Cody, Wyoming. And there's 600,000 people there. So within 1 or 2 generations, it will be completely Mogadishu. Our grandest, most beautiful national park will just be destroyed. This is what we're doing to America. If you think Minneapolis is like your liver gets cancer and it doesn't leave your liver, so now you're going to, take your liver out, get a liver transplant, you're going to live, but we'll eradicate that. And it didn't spread. No, this is stage 4 cancer, and it is spreading like wildfire. You need to be prepared. Golly, man. You believe what's happened to our country? You believe where we're at right now? I want you to be prepared. You don't have to be prepared like I do. You don't have to see things the way I do. I don't expect you to. I don't. I get great emails. I love the emails I get in my website inbox. Love it. Please keep it coming. I love the comments to get on Substack. Please keep it coming. I love it because it's fuel to the fire. Because sometimes I think, is anybody listening? I see the numbers, so I know they're listening. Well, are people really engaged? And I get emails saying, spot on. Everything you're saying, I believe. I'm in your side. Yes, this needs to be. And that fuels me. So I'm going to ask you, just go to my website, jjcarrell.com, or go to my Substack, jjcarrell.substack.com. Spread the word. Click on whatever the bells and whistles, whatever you have to do to subscribe. And leave me a note. I read them all. I don't respond to all of them because, my gosh, I don't have all that time, but I would say I read almost all of them, if not all of them. Go to my website, go to my Substack, and go to the sponsors that promote my show, that help my show to stay on the air. And that's sat123.com, sat123.com/JJ. You have to be prepared. Everything I'm talking about tonight, it all comes back to, do you have everything you need not to live for 100 years? We promote Carnival. We promote Podlink Radio, Sat Phone. You're not going to be able, all hell's going to break loose in society. If that ever happens, it's going to collapse quickly. Or if there's a natural disaster, a man-made disaster, a war, you're not going to be able to survive on whatever you have stocked up. But what you're trying to do is buy you and your family time. That's it. You don't want to believe the way I do, then believe in the way of my young daughter, or my young son, or my wife gets stuck on the side of the road and their cell service doesn't work, so they can call me and say, hey, I'm on the sat phone. I'm at mile marker X, Y, and Z. Please come send someone and come get me. Got it. So I now just bought my family time. The massive storm, all the power's out. I have a generator that runs on solar panel. I have time. There's a school shooting. There's a shooting at a grocery store. There's a shooting at the theater. My son and my wife have a ballistic backpack. I just bought time. To me, being prepared just equals time. And while everybody else is going crazy, I have time to go, I'm all right. My family's all right. Now, what is my plan? How am I going to execute it? What are the variables that I didn't anticipate that are happening? I have time. That's why I have sponsors the way I do. I get asked to do reads, and I get asked to do this. I want specific things that I actually own, companies that I invest in, and companies that I believe in. Sat123.com is one of those companies. Please go to sat123.com/JJ. I'm going to say right on this topic of the demographic destruction of America, the social upheaval, the cultural destruction of our norms, and the people that are here not thanking us. Wouldn't it be different if the Somalis were working their ass off? If the people from the Middle East, from Latin America, everyone was working, nobody was on welfare. It was like the 1924 times. They were welcomed. We wanted them to become Americans. We don't have that now. We don't have thank you, America. Thank you for helping us get on our feet. We're on our feet now. Now we're going to help other people. We're going to work. We're going to be a part of the fabric of America. We don't have that. We have ingrates. We have people that hate our way of life. And then we have people that demand more and more and more. I played this woman. The lady I played at the convenience store, the grocery store, that got basically browbeaten by some Hispanic illegal aliens. And she was on the verge of tears. She was so angry. There's millions of people like her. There's millions of people like me that are working a second job after I'm retired because I'm trying to build something. But I have to pay 30, 40, 50% of everything I make instead of pouring it back into me and building what I want. Where did I get to the point in America that I have to give over half of my time, talent, and treasure to some evil government in order for them to pay people like that jackass in the millions? Do you know how much it costs to feed, clothe, medicate, educate, house tens of millions of people every month? It's billions of dollars with a B. Billions. We are spending tens of billions, if not 100 to 200 billion dollars, $250 million every single year on illegal aliens. The last 4 years of Joe Biden, we spent $1 trillion on illegal aliens. Here's a senator that actually has been saying this for quite a while, and he's getting louder and louder and louder. And that is the Alabama Senator, Tommy Tuberville. Listen to what he says, and he's very articulate, and he doesn't talk in generalities. He pinpoints the Muslims, and he's saying exactly what America believes and wants done. Listen to Senator Tuberville.
Democrats invite terrorists from all over the world into this country. They let them steal our benefits, enjoy our schools, overrun our hospitals, vote in our elections, and then steal our tax dollar to send back to their home countries to fund terrorism. By the way, I've seen all of these woke Democrats like Omar calling Somalia a wonderful place. If it's such a wonderful place, why doesn't she move back? If Somalia is all that, why is the terrorist group Al-Shabaab murdering Somalian civilians by the masses? And why is the capital of Somalia considered to be one of the most dangerous capitals in the world due to frequent terrorist bombings, targeting killings, and ambushes? That sounds like a place no one would ever want to visit or live. Democrats invite terrorists from all over the world into this country.
Right on the money. Right on the money. Go back. And here's the hopeful thing is I'm hearing that phrase, go back, get out. Quote, I want them all deported. Not some, all of them. This is not the fringe anymore. It's never was the fringe. But now everyone's saying it. Because we have nothing to lose except everything. Before, people are like, I don't know if I can lose this. I don't know if I could. I got to keep quiet. Now they're like, I can't keep quiet. I'll lose everything. Before it was like some things. No, everything's going to die. This cannot continue without a massive, massive rebellion. Those people that are here, like that jackass that I showed at the beginning of the show, you think they're going to leave peacefully? 3 meals a day, cash in their pocket, cars, driving cars, doing whatever they want, having as many children as they want. They don't pay for anything. They don't work. Why would they leave? And why would they, if they were going to be told to leave, why would they leave peacefully? They have to all be sitting around talking because they are highly communicative to each other. And I know what they're having the discussions. When those white men with their guns from Wyoming, Idaho, Dakotas, Nebraska, Wisconsin, when they want us out, what are we going to do? And they're strategizing. They're planning. If you think they're not, you're a fool. The other sponsor I want to talk to you tonight about is patriotsmade.com. It came out this week, one of I think it's the 2 or the 3 of the BLM people that got money from Venezuela and George Soros is indicted for embezzlement and fraud. Multiple homes, multiple everything, vacations. It's all a scam. But we paid for it. Well, how did we pay for it? Well, because we went to the box stores like Walmart, and we went to all the box stores and we bought all the products from the companies that hate us. And then all of the corporations in America gave money to Black Lives Matter that hate America. It's a Marxist organization to defund the police. People like the Walmart Harris, Miss Walton. She funded all the No Kings protests. this summer. How'd that make you feel? Where do you think all those bricks and rocks and pallets of shields came from? Do you think they just pop up out of nowhere? Or do you think somebody of her wealth funded it? So I go to patriotsmade.com/JJ and I buy a product or products from a company that's made in America, by Americans, for Americans, to a company that shares our way of life, believes in the American greatness and the citizens. And all their products are green, meaning there's no plastics in the food, there's no metals in the lotions and shampoos, there's no toxins in the cleaners. Just go, try it. I have hundreds, if not 1,000 plus of my audience has already made the switch. patriotsmade.com/JJ. Nick, the show's flying by. I'm looking at it. I got 9 minutes. I'm going to touch on this topic. And it's the live wire. But now it's become, everyone wants to talk about it. What is that? It's Israel. It's the Jewish lobby. And now we have President Trump being proclaimed to be the first Jewish president by Mark Levin. President Trump is talking about how the Israeli lobby is not as strong as it used to be and it needs to be stronger. Yep, I said that. He said that. And I'm going to play Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. And he says, if you do not combat anti-Semitism, there will be consequences for you. Can you play this one, Nick?
On August 17th, about 4 months ago, I sent Prime Minister Albanese of Australia a letter in which I gave him warning that the Australian government's policy was promoting and encouraging anti-Semitism in Australia. I wrote, your call for a Palestinian state pours full fuel on the anti-Semitic fire. It rewards Hamas terrorism. It emboldens those who menace Australian Jews and encourages the Jew hatred now stalking your streets. Anti-Semitism is a cancer. It spreads when leaders stay silent. It retreats when leaders act. I call upon you to replace weakness with action, appeasement with resolve. Instead, Prime Minister, you replaced weakness with weakness and appeasement with more appeasement. Your government did nothing to stop the spread of anti-Semitism in Australia. You did nothing to curb the cancer cells that were growing inside your country. You took no action. You let the disease spread. And the result is the horrific attacks on Jews we saw today. We saw an action of a brave man, turns out a Muslim brave man, and I salute him, that stopped one of these terrorists from killing innocent Jews. But it requires the action of your government, which you're not taking. And you have to, because history will not forgive hesitation and weakness.
And he goes on to say, if you do not combat anti-Semitism, talking about directly to the West, there will be consequences for you. Now, I'm torn a little bit because I understand. He wants to protect his people. I get it. I applaud it. He has more courage than anyone else, more so than that gutless bastard in Australia, that weak, impotent white man from Australia. But at the same time, sir, you don't get to tell me in America what the hell I got to do. But I will say this because I'm intellectually honest. He is telling America and Americans what you're going to do. And he's winning. How do I know that? Well, because we can burn the American flag, but you can't burn the Israeli flag in America. You have active groups in America that are getting people fired, banned, censored, have their lives ruined because they say anything against Israel or Jews. I want to show you a video right now. It's a shorter version of about a 6 to 8 minute video. And this woman is the founder of Stop Anti-Semitism. And I want you to, is this the one, Nick, that I have up, number 8? I don't think it's this one. I think it's another one I have. Yep, that's her right there. Listen to this, just a minute long, but if you can find the full video and had 6 minutes to watch it, you will be shocked. But let's just listen to this Israeli Jewish Karen. What a combo.
Community did not choose, but one that we are now fully engaged in, confronting the global explosion of Jew hatred, unleashed since the attacks of 10/7. Stop Anti-Semitism was built for this. For years, we exposed hate, pressured institutions, and delivered consequences. But after 10/7, the scale of threat and the urgency of our mission changed dramatically overnight. Since that day, we have featured more than 1,000 anti-Semites on our platforms. 1,000. Not theorized about them, not quietly documented them, feature them publicly, clearly, and with evidence. The results speak for themselves. Approximately 400 of these Jew haters have faced real consequences, including firings, suspensions, and expulsion.
Can you believe that we're sitting here listening to that Karen applaud herself for having people fired? She's no different than the ADL, Southern Poverty Law Center. She's a vile woman that runs a vile organization. Hey, sweetheart, this is America. We can say whatever the hell we want to say, because the moment we don't get to say what we believe in is the world we're living in today. And you're coming in the tail end, sweetheart. Everything's changing. The younger generation, my son's generation, the one above him, they don't give two shits about Israel. I'm just going to tell you, they don't care. They don't care about your anti-Semitism. They don't care about anything. You know why? Because they're rising up as conservative Christians, and they're looking at the generation right above the one that's right there above them, and they're going, holy crap. They don't even know if they're a man or a woman. That guy hasn't had a girlfriend. He's almost 35 years old. He hasn't even had sex. He's almost 40. No one's married. No one has children. And why? Why is that? Well, because we can't talk about certain things. We can't talk about the Jews in Israel. I mean, you can talk about the Ukrainians and you can talk about the Nigerians and Mexicans, but don't talk about the Israeli Jews. I'm telling you, the reason why Charlie Kirk was so powerful is because he got turned around. Like, he got right the last 6 weeks of his life. He was adamantly against Israeli propaganda and Israeli government having a say in America politics. And what did Charlie Kirk have that was above everyone else? He had a straight conduit line to the youth. And you go to that's why you see Ted Kennedy freaked out. Anytime that anyone takes question and answer, J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, it's about, why are we giving money to Israel? Why are we not taking care of Americans? Why are we bowing down to Israelis government? Why? They can't escape it. They can't escape it because everyone's effing tired. We're all tired of working our ass off in order to take care of the world. We're not the world's policemen. That was a bogus lie. It was a fallacy. It was propaganda. We have to fight them over there because we don't fight here. But you brought them all here, you jackasses. You brought them all into our country. I don't know if Trump's the answer. I think he was the answer for this time, but there is someone else that is going to be the real answer. Somebody that's not going to be holding giant press conferences with Mark Levin. That's not the guy. We all know it. We're all upset. Nobody's been arrested. This has just been a boondoggle. We all have to begin to speak with no filter and no fear. And we needed to do that decades ago.